Welcome everyone to the New Fly Fisher. I'm your host Bill Spicer. On this week's show we visit the St. Catharines area of southern Ontario, and our quarry this week, smallmouth bass. We'll talk about the equipment, the flies, and the technique. This is going to be another good one, folks, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stop, wiggle, on the way down.
The New Fly Fisher has been made possible thanks to City of St. Catharines, Ontario Tourism, Islander Precision Reels, Orvis Sporting Traditions.
On today's show, we visit St. Catharines, also known as the Garden City, located on the Niagara Peninsula just north of Niagara Falls. St. Catharines is smack dab in the center of some of the best fishing southern Ontario has to offer. We've chosen to fish the upper Niagara River, which is only a 15-minute drive from St. Catharines. Joining me today is one of the best guides I've had the pleasure of using, John Volk, owner of Grindstone Outfitters. And one of the most innovative fly tyers I know, Graham Coombs, owner of Swim True Flies. We'll also be getting some good advice on setting up your boat from professional guide Rob Clark.
So when we're talking about St. Catharines itself, we have 12 Mile Creek, 16 Mile Creek, and some of the other smaller tributaries that run in. Those will hold migratory steelhead, the migratory salmon that will enter the river mouths in the springtime. Lake trout will come into the river mouths. So a lot of good areas to get into some of the early spring migratories. As we progress into the summer, we have the residents, the resident muskie, the resident smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, channel catfish. Like, it's unlimited to the number of fish that we can get into. And even in the lower Niagara River, as early as August, you'll have the salmon start to come into the bottom end of the Niagara River. So it is a year-round fishery, definitely, with many great species to go after, and including even the Great Lake sturgeon. We have those down there as well, although I've never caught one on a fly rod. So.
The day started off nice and warm and sunny, but it soon became apparent that trouble was approaching. Quickly, we knew it was time to get off the water.
Now, on the Great Lakes, storms can come up very quickly and come up real nasty. People have died on the Great Lakes because they weren't sure what they were doing or where they were going or what to expect. Always keep an eye on the weather patterns that you see. Looking for large storm headers coming in, the wind suddenly changing directions on you. And if you see an approaching storm, it's important to get off the water as quickly as possible. If you start getting caught up in the storm, beach it. Put the boat on the beach, go to the nearest launch ramp, even go to the nearest marina. Nobody's going to stop you from getting off the water safely. As soon as you see those storms or you hear it on your VH radio that there's impending weather coming, get off the water as quick as you can, because those are inland seas. They're not nothing to be played with. You need to get off the water quickly.
With better weather and an early start the next morning, our luck changed. Fish on. And it was the technique that Graham had showed us before, just getting it out in the current and letting it swing. I have a cone head leech on. And man, it was no doubt about when I got the hit, it was whammo.
Yeah, look at the bend in the rod.
Oh, good stuff, Bill.
This is a good 7-weight rod, and look at the bend in it.
I think you brought your 3-weight.
Yeah, my piece of spaghetti. But man, oh man, did he ever hit it hard.
Wow,
Now,
that's a really good
it's a good fish. The bottom structure, we're not on weeds right now. We're on like a rocky bottom that has lots of crevices in it. And I got another fish right underneath it.
big fish following.
Big fish trying to steal it out of his mouth. Now these fish are extremely strong. Oh, it's a good bass. It's a good bass. And I'll guide him back to John.
Nice
And we
job.
got a nice bass. I'll let you handle it, John. But that's a good one. It's about 16 inches. Not a huge one, but it's certainly worth coming to get, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a good fish. Yeah.
Boy, look at that. That's great. What a great
Wonderful.
fight, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Well
What nice markings on them. Nice healthy fish.
They're chunky, aren't they?
Yeah, they're chunky, yeah. There we go.
Good job.
All right. Now, we had moved farther downstream and weren't having much luck. We were having some follow-ups. So John suggested that we come back up into this area here where we have a rocky bottom. And as soon as we got here, I swung it out in the current like Graham was, bango, and it worked.
St. Catharines is a very lively community with friendly people and plenty of activities for the family available throughout the region. From tours of the many vineyards in the area, to getting up close to the many ships that pass through the Welland Canal, and along with picturesque beaches, St. Catharines is also a very short drive from one of the 7 wonders of the world, Niagara Falls.
Because St. Catharines, the Niagara region, lies on a bordering community, in other words, we border with Buffalo and/or the United States, there are different seasons that will give us the guidelines in Ontario to fish as opposed to the guidelines that they have in the U.S. So we have to be a little cautious, especially when fishing the Niagara River. The time of the year that the fish are coming in, steelhead, they come in the springtime. Again, they appear in the fall. So September, October time frame for the fall fishery. In the springtime, you'll find them in as early as February. The salmon, we'll start seeing salmon August, September, good runs in October. Smallmouth bass, muskie, largemouth bass, so they're all resident fish. They're there year round. But what we really need to do is pay attention to the Ontario sport fishing regulations to find out the times of the year that are suitable and allowed to fish this area.
Fish on. Yeah, you really nailed it.
What were you doing, Brent?
Well, we've tried everything else, of course, and I just tried a leech pattern.
It was just a stop? Was it a hard hit or
It was a solid hit.
was it? Oh, nice. Look at the bend on the rod.
That's your 2-weight, right?
Yeah, that's me too.
Awesome.
Oh, that's a good looking fish, man.
That's a good looking fish, yeah. Oh man, staying down, huh? Yes, sir. Now, the conditions have changed a bit, and that's a really nice smallie. Oh, that's a nice smallie.
Well done,
Oh,
John.
yeah. The conditions have changed a bit. The wind's picked up a bit.
Yeah, that
Maybe
little,
that was the difference we needed.
yeah, that little bit of chop on the water. Sometimes
Look at the
that's
chop in the water. Yeah,
sometimes-
look at the size of that.
Nice bass.
Lovely fish.
Beautiful.
look at that little electric leech.
That's a really nice fish, Graham.
Yep,
Beautiful.
that was worth it, wasn't it, John?
Oh, that's great.
Let's see if we can catch another few more.
We'll have a fun day.
Yep.
Although we're fishing out of a drift boat today, John's a professional guide and knows the river quite well in the Niagara River and fishes a drift boat all the time. but the primary vehicle you'd like to use on a Niagara River or Lake Ontario or Lake Erie is a larger boat. And with that larger boat, all Ontario residents need to have a operator's card, personal watercraft operator's card. Anybody operating the boat needs that. You need the proper safety equipment on board that boat, and most importantly, you should have a good sonar and GPS unit.
Although we went through our fly boxes and tried most of our flies, the three main flies that worked the best for us were the black woolly bugger with a bead head, a weighted cone head zuddler, and one of Graham Coombs' Swim True bucktails. Here's the recipe for the conehead zuddler, the most successful fly of the day. Hook is a Mustad R75S 9674 in sizes 2 through 8. The thread is 6/0 black. The tail is 6 to 8 strands of pearlescent crystal flash. The body, holographic silver diamond dubbing. The wing/tail is black rabbit zonker strip. The beard, red diamond wing fibers. The legs, black round rubber hackle, 2 strands per side. The collar, natural deer hair, spun and clipped. The head, silver cone.
Winds can be pretty much a large concern on the Great Lakes and the Niagara River, depending on if you're fishing the upper or the lower Niagara. South winds on the upper Niagara is going to create lots of havoc, heavy winds, dirty up the water, but you always have multiple opportunities around the St. Catharines area that you can go to if the winds are too high. You can go to Port Dalhousie, you can go to Lake Ontario, the lower Niagara, you can go to Jordan Harbor. That's just a few spots that you can still fish depending on your wind direction. If one side is too windy and too much wave action, play it safe and go to another section, either up to the Lake Erie and fish that area or down to Lake Ontario and fish those areas. They're all within minutes.
Earlier in the day, we were working the weed lines and were able to spot a few fish. But the action was very slow, so we moved to a land point. This consisted of large boulders narrowing down to a point under the water with a large drop-off. We positioned the boat over the large boulders and were working the deep drop-off. We were using a traditional down and across method of presenting the fly. We cast across and allowed the fly to sink, and then allowed the current to swing the fly near the bottom of the river. This proved to be the best technique of the day.
Fish on. Fish on, yes sir.
Oh, he's a good one too, Bill.
He's a good one, yeah. He followed that around. I just felt this weight all of a sudden, but it was a heavy weight. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at the head shakes.
Oh yeah. That's a steelhead.
Think so? Wouldn't that be nice? But yeah, I got this right into my stomach this time. He's putting up a good fight. He's gonna come up top soon. Oh, it's a big fish. We're taking out some drag. Can't back that off. I don't want to break him off. Wowee. Man, the fish in the Niagara River, because of the current, all they are is big mussels.
That's a good fish.
This is definitely a good fish. I'm not quite sure it's a bass.
That has got some weight to it.
This does.
Oh, that's a bass.
Big smallmouth.
It's a big smallmouth?
It's a bass.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness.
That is a monster.
It's a monster. Look at the bend on it, my goodness. The secret today has been the deeper water. We're off a point. I don't know if you can see it from behind me, but we're off a point, and the point continues out in the water, and I think these guys are hanging off right off the end of the point.
Well, and we've seen all these shiners here.
And all the shiners, there's food here. Yeah, this is a good fish.
Such a great food source. That's a big bass.
That's a big bass.
Look at how beautiful bronze that is.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Oh.
Look at the bronze color. That's fantastic.
Now I'm right into I got a sink tip on. I'm right into my sink tip. You bring it right up and you draw it back for John. Oh, he's gonna stay down for a minute. Oh my God. Yes, sir.
Good
Look
job.
at that.
That is
a monster.
That is a pig right there.
Oh man,
Nice bass.
Isn't that a nice bass? Oh yeah, look at the size. From my right up into my elbow, so we're into 17 inches anyways. Nice fish.
Well done, Billy.
Yes, sir.
The equipment we were using today consisted of 7 weights, 8 weights, and a 10-weight rod. The 7 weights and 8 weights are for the bass, obviously, and some of the freshwater drum that inhabit the Niagara River. It is big water. We needed some pretty stiff action rods to handle the intermediate shooting head lines that we were using for these fish. We needed to get down. We were fishing leech patterns, clousers, and some of Graham Coombs swim-through flies. The 10-weight rod, obviously, we had for muskie, and you can see by the size of some of these swim-through flies for muskie, it's a big fly to cast. Unfortunately, didn't get into one, but we sure did land a big walleye on the 8-weight.
Some of the prime areas we fished today were weed lines, as they will hold bass, pike, and muskie. We also fished current breaks where 2 currents of differing speeds meet. These will hold smallmouth bass, muskie, and walleye.
Well, Graham pointed out how fast the current out there and the swirls were getting. Get vortexes out in the middle there, so that's why it's so important to be realize where you are on the river and stay away from that kind of stuff. You don't, the fish aren't there anyways, they're more here.
Sometimes the key, isn't it, in fly fishing is to mix it up and see what the actual fish want. That's why I touched there before. I mean, to come to the water with any sort of an idea that you're going to fish a pattern and that's all you're going to fish, it can get you into trouble. You need to be flexible in your fly choice and your retrieve as well.
And that's a good point, Graham. Versatility is the main thing that you should have in any fishing situation. You predetermine what you're going to do and you're probably going to fail.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
A lot of people get the newest edition of their fly fishing magazine. There's a couple of shiny patterns in there and they tie a box full of them and they really forget to notice what's actually happening around us.
Absolutely.
Like we've seen the shiners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a good chance they are feeding on shiners, or maybe there's something else down there, like John's looking to go to a woolly bugger, so
Right.
maybe they are nymphing down there.
Absolutely.
At the moment,
Yeah.
we don't know.
We don't know. We haven't found out yet. Yes, sir. Fish on.
That's a muskie, isn't it?
I don't know.
Might be a muskie, yeah.
It's it just stopped like a rock.
That's either a muskie
That
or
was about dumb, wasn't it?
it's either a muskie or a sturgeon.
Something big.
Something huge.
It's big. I don't believe it.
It is a
That or a
muskie
big
too.
walleye. It's a big walleye.
Monstrous walleye.
It's a big walleye.
That's like 10 pound.
Anything in the Niagara River, isn't there?
Isn't that big?
You weren't kidding, Graham, when you said this is a place to be. Oh my. This is a majorly big walleye.
That is.
I'm gonna see if I can get him on this side of the boat. Look at this. Now it's the same as fighting any big fish. Into my stomach, wind down and pull up, keeping the C in the rod. The fish is fighting the rod now. If you point the rod straight at the fish, you're gonna break the line. Okay, I'm trying to get this over in front of the camera, but it's not working very well. He's so big, he's gonna do what he wants to do. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Fight it right. Okay, lift up the oar there, please, John. Okay. Oh, man.
That is a huge.
Oh, it's a huge.
Isn't that?
Oh, look at the size of it.
That is massive.
Oh, please don't lose it.
Holy
oh
mackerel,
my
Bill.
goodness!
That is bloody amazing.
Oh man! Look at this, guys.
Just hold the net. Okay, just pull the net away from him.
Okay. Lots of teeth and a spiny back. Now look at that.
Isn't it?
Everything is in the Niagara River. We've caught bass today, we've seen people catching muskie, and now a big walleye. This is just incredible. Now, how big would you say that is, John?
Oh, he's about 8 pounds.
8 pounds.
7 or 8 pounds.
That's one of the biggest walleye I've ever got, so I'm pretty happy about that. Oh, beautiful.
Notice the opaque
That is a
eyes.
gorgeous fish.
Yeah,
Bill.
the opaque eyes, and it was just, this was like the bottom. I thought I had a rock. And John helped me out. He says, no, Bill, you got a fish. And man, oh man, all of a sudden it started to fight. This is tremendous. Tremendous fishery here, just a tremendous fishery here. All within a short drive of the St. Catharines area. Oh yeah.
The fishery in this region is just fantastic.
Absolutely, we're lucky to live in Southern Ontario, that's for sure. We got about everything around that you want. And in the Niagara region itself, in St. Catharines, it's there's everything. Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, the Niagara River, 12 Mile Creek, and there's about every kind of fish that you can think of to fish for here. So let's let her go, and I guess it's a her because usually the big fish are females. She's ready to go.
Well, look at that.
Look at that, and away it goes. Well, that was a great day. It was tough, but it was a great day.
Well, and after that big storm yesterday, Bill, that torrential downpour that blew us off the river, you know, we had a short day, but it was a great day.
The Niagara River, full of surprises. Today, that beautiful big walleye. Nice job, Bill.
Wasn't it? Yeah. For more information on today's show and others in our series, visit us on the web at thenewflyfisher.com. From all of us here at The New Fly Fisher, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
The New Fly Fisher has been made possible thanks to City of St. Catharines, Ontario Tourism, Islander Precision Reels, Orvis Sporting Traditions,